Ethereum has broken out of its symmetrical triangle trading pattern right here and now looking for continued upside momentum. Plus, Ethereum is still stuck in this sideways trending, slightly downtrending channel. We're now at the upper bounds of this channel, looking for a breakout above this channel, came back for support and more continued upside direction. Plus, I have some crypto news to go through with you today, so make sure you stick around until the end of the video. Make sure to slam the like button, smash the subscribe button, and tap that notification bell to stay up to date with all of my latest YouTube videos. Make sure to check out my trading masterclass that's currently 50% off in this video description, where I teach you everything about trading. Let's begin today's video by looking at the latest in crypto news. On a base level, the high probability play is that the macro direction for Bitcoin is up. It's just the timing where some disagree. I think the main danger is if we do make an all-time high before the halving, will the impending halving be used as a narrative to stop people selling the top? Something to think about. Everyone has their perspective. Be critical of arguments, your own and others equally, to form a rounded view for yourself, which I 100% agree with. You have to make up your own complete mind. I'm just here to give my personal opinion on the markets, to maybe point some things out that you haven't seen before in the markets, and using what you already know plus some new information that I'm showing you together, you're able to make this well-rounded decision for yourself. So what this is actually talking about here is this halving event that is coming up in that later portion of 2024. Now, this is actually this sort of parabola to the upside where we've actually been holding since this 2011 initial beginning of Bitcoin. We've been pushing and using this as support to the upside, using this initial line as resistance to the upside. One thing to point out is that the last all-time high didn't actually come up to these highs like we actually see in these last two all-time highs back in 2014 and 2018 areas. So as you can see that this line here is actually showing basically what the potential expected is up at around this $80,000 level per Bitcoin, maybe around this $90,000 level, is actually showing where this line continuation, if we were to get an exact basic from this high to this high, or a high from this high to this high. So what's actually showing is this extension across, it would come up to around this $200,000 level if it's an extension of these two highs, looking closer to that $90,000 level. Overall, still looking, when I'm always talking about buying, and this is basically an uptrending trading range if you're looking at it. So you're always looking to buy in this bottom 25%, which we are in this bottom 25% portion, and looking to sell in this top 25%, which is probably exactly why people were selling in this area. We were in this top 25% of this overall uptrending channel. So an overall decent chart. Actually really scroll out, have a look at everything that's happening on the Bitcoin chart, and to be able to make a long-term decision, not a decision on the 5-minute chart, but a really long-term decision that you can potentially be holding in a retirement account for 5 years, for 10 years, not just something that you're looking to even swing in the next few months. People are looking for really big gains on Bitcoin, and it's not just going to come in within the next few months. It's going to take years and years, but if you want that true massive wealth accumulation, well, it's not going to happen overnight. A lot of people, and you may have heard this before, it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. So you might see somebody in the market actually making absolutely massive gains, but it took them 10 years to become that overnight success, because basically all of a sudden your Twitter feed, your YouTube feed, your Instagram feed, your TikTok feed is just going to be flooded with their content. But for them to just pop up like that and absolutely crush the markets, took them 10 years of work to do so. Now let's take a look at the latest price action for Ethereum, because a lot has happened in basically the last day. So initially we were talking about, in the first video that we spoke about this, we were talking about here, we had this symmetrical triangle trading pattern where we were looking for a breakout in this last third of the triangle. That's exactly what we got. We got a breakout to the downside in this last third. Then what's very expected is this apex, which is where these two converging lines meet, for the for the symmetrical triangle usually gets a retest before we get the big move to the downside, and it looks like this was the big move to the downside. Again, what we usually do to make a rough prediction is use the base of this symmetrical triangle. You go from this high, you bring it down to this low, and then you bring it to this apex point or even the breakout point, but the apex point is more conservative, and that gives you a rough target in the market. And you can see we didn't quite actually reach that. Initially came down around 2.3%, but our initial target was around that 3.8, close to 4%. So you can see that the overall target wasn't actually reached. But usually what happens, and I'm always teaching this in my trading course, that once we have this symmetrical triangle, so what usually happens is overall trend, like through this area, is to the downside. When you then get a symmetrical triangle late in a pattern, so we've got this strong downtrend trending pattern, once we get this symmetrical triangle late in a pattern, it usually has a high probability of downside momentum. But not only that, and the biggest point about this is that it's usually called a final flag move, where we get a flag. This triangle is a flag late in a trend, and we're going to get a final flag move where the next low that actually goes below this low is basically going to be the final low in the move before we potentially look for a trend reversal, because the reason being is that we need a trading range type of pattern to actually get a trading range reversal. And right here, we've got a trading range pattern. A symmetrical triangle is a trading range pattern because prices are failing to push to the upside. They're failing to push to the downside. We're basically in a trading range where prices are capped to the upside, capped to the downside. Overall, perfect pattern, came back to retest this apex. That's where you look to get into the pattern, and we made a 2.5% push to the downside. Overall, didn't hit pattern, but it looks like now that's potentially the end of the pattern. The only next thing that does point out to me is potentially still in a bit of a trading range where we're getting these double lows and double highs. So all we're really looking for here is, as you can see through here, we have a really downtrending EMA. All through this area, we've finally got an uptrending EMA, so we might need some of that continuation. I do expect maybe coming down, retesting some of these lows, then continuing higher, and what it will allow the EMA to do is actually get some ups, a little bit of down, a little bit of up, and then from this area here, we can then look to make that massive spring to the upside. So overall, even in this short-term time frame for Ethereum, extremely bullish. Quickly flick over just to the weekly time frame, and you can see why we're even getting that upside momentum. What area are we in? We're in the value zone right now. Overall uptrending EMA on the weekly time frame, which is the big time frame that you really want to take into account. We're right here in this value zone between the short and medium term EMA. Whenever you want to look to get into the long, you know the uptrend is to the upside, so we want to be longing rather than longing up here in this pattern. You get in at the average price and then swing a perfect long to the upside. So overall, very happy with everything that's playing out, long term, short term. Very happy with crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, everything right now. Slightly different pattern happening on Bitcoin. Through this area here, we were traveling to the sideways pattern, and now we're moving to the downside. One big reason why I do believe we're starting to get a reversal is you can see we actually had a 3-push wedge, which isn't something that I've talked about in recent videos. Once we get a 3-push wedge, there's around a 60 to 70% chance of the third push. So this being the first low, this being the second low, this being the third low, and they're really nicely spaced out. How you can see when we're getting spacing like that, where it's not just like you're getting another low in here, another low in here, another low in here, and it's a little bit hard to determine, is that one low together? Here it's perfect. You're sort of getting really nice spacing, 1 low, 2 low, 3 low. We get that wedge pattern. We then have 75% chance push to the upside, and even from this bottom side here up to this top side, looking to even just sell in this top side of the area, around a 5% profit potential. So really solid trading. If you're looking at even these daily time frames, some really good trades. You make 5%, you basically hold this pattern, you hold it for, you could have even gotten basically out in 2 days. You would have looked to get out to the top side, but let's say you basically held for a week and you make 5%. Absolutely fantastic, especially when you're trading, let's just say $100,000 trading account, 5%, that's $5,000 on the week. Absolutely fantastic. Like, you really want to be trading this type of account size, but you're not going to get there by trading leverage. You can only maximum risk 3% of your trading account. Make sure to check out my trading course where I teach you everything that I know about trading. Smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, tap the notification bell to stay up to date with all my latest YouTube videos. Check out my latest trading course in the video description, and make sure to click on the video that's on the screen now if you'd like to continue watching my YouTube videos.